The Honourable Todd McClay.
Mr Speaker, last week in Southland, the Prime Minister and I announced the government will set clear rules to limit farm to forest conversions from entering the emissions trading scheme. These changes deliver on a key government commitment to protect food production for farmers while providing ETS certainty for foresters. They also address the previous government's failed ETS policies that incentivised large-scale conversions, created ETS complexity and undermined our world best primary producers. Last week's announcements will help safeguard New Zealand's most productive farmland while allowing...
Now that outburst is going to cause some other discussion and probably a ruling from me next time the House formally sits. The Honourable Todd McClay will, a point of order, the Honourable David Seymour.
Speaker, I hesitate again, but I notice that...
Could you speak up then?
A member of the House was yelling kia kaha at those strangers making the disturbance. And to encourage and actually to speak to the gallery is in breach of standing orders generally, but to actually encourage that sort of undermining of the House, I would argue, is another breach of privilege.
Well, then the member knows that he should write to me if that's his broader concern. I didn't see it or hear it. I was watching what was happening in the gallery. The question can be asked again. Suze Redmayne.
My question is to the Minister of Agriculture. What actions has the government taken to protect highly productive food-producing land in New Zealand?
Mr Speaker, last week in Southland, the Prime Minister and I announced the government will set clear rules to limit farm to forest conversions entering into the emissions trading scheme. These changes deliver on a key government commitment to protect food production for farmers while providing ETS certainty for foresters. They also address the previous government's failed ETS policies that incentivised...
Point of order, the Honourable Kieran McInnes.
Thank you very much, Mr Speaker. In this instance, I had the benefit of hearing that answer the first time round. And I had hoped that they would stop after that first part, which is fine. This is a question by their own side. And it is inappropriate for government ministers to state as if it's fact a point of debate or a point of opinion about the previous government's record. What the minister said the first time round and was about to say then is incorrect and is very much a debatable point. And they shouldn't be allowed to just state that, which is clearly a political point, as if it's fact.
And that is true. My apologies. I was actually still thinking about the incident that took place and not fully paying attention. But I'll just say to the Minister, confine his remarks to efforts of the government, not criticism of previous administrations.
Yes, thank you, Mr Speaker. They also address the previous government's policies that incentivised large-scale conversions, created ETS complexity and undermined our world best primary producers.
Just a minute.
Last week's announcements...
Stop. What is the problem? Stand up and speak about it.
Well,
because
okay.
I can't hear what's actually a problem with that. It's not unreasonable for a minister to talk about something that a previous government did. It is unreasonable to attack a previous government or an opposition for their time in a previous government. He's not doing that. He's talking about somebody else making a comment.
Well, Mr Speaker, in fairness, I've raised a point of order. That was dealt with. Now I'm responding to what he's saying. If I had an issue with what he was saying, I would have raised another point of order.
Okay. You were saying so much over here, I thought perhaps I was a bit confused as to who I should be listening to.
To continue.
Make the rest of the answer brief.
Thank you. Last week's announcements will help safeguard New Zealand's most productive farmland while allowing space for sustainable forestry growth and ensuring landowners retain the ability to make informed, smart land use decisions that enhance both profitability and sustainable outcomes.
Supplementary, what additional measures has the government announced to improve farm and rural productivity?
Well, Mr Speaker, last week I announced with the full support of hard-working local MPs Katie Nimmin and Catherine Wedd that the government is co-investing $995,000 to expand the Land for Life pilot project in the Hawke's Bay. This program helps farmers and growers plant trees on low-quality farmland so they can adapt to changing conditions, prevent erosion, and generate additional income through carbon credits and timber on low-quality farmland. We estimate that this will benefit $380 million in cumulative economic gains for participating farmers over 30 years and $1.5 billion in avoided costs from reduced landslides.
Yeah,
this is just
a very
another
long
way
answer.
the government supports our rural sector.
Good.